Well, hey there, my friends, and welcome to my channel, Ink and Whimsy. I'm Laura Daniels, and I'm glad you've decided to spend a little bit of your time with me. We're going to have a lot of fun. We are using, in today's video, the Adventurous Sky Stampin' die set, including several of the papers in it. I wanted to show you where it is in the catalog. It's called the Take to the Sky Suite. The one thing I don't have yet are these trinkets. I'm so excited to get those. Anyways, I have a video showing you my process for setting up my catalog and how I use it just to help me as a demonstrator. So if you're interested, be sure to check out the playlist that I'll have below for you. All right, so let's get started. This is my storybook page, and a couple of times a month I will pick a story that I want to tell for my kids to remember one day, for me to be able to look back on. It may only have 1 to 2 photos. This is me and my daughter-in-law, Danielle. And the story is called The Perfect 30-Second Hug. And I always use a card that I've designed to be my inspiration for the 8.5 by 11 layout. So here's the card that's going to be my inspiration. Here is the photo, like I said, of myself and my daughter-in-law. We'll be using this stamp set and dies, so I already have several things cut out and a couple of the stamp sets set aside. And then of course we have this beautiful suite of papers. All right, so we're going to get started first with the 8.5 by 11 sheet. Let me just set these aside real quick. Now, the first thing that I want to do, because I cut this just short enough to fit on my 8.5 by 11 so that I have a white border, but I want to add some texture to this, so I'm going to use this stamp, which is like the bodywork of an airplane, and I want to use the color Basic Gray from Stampin' Up, and we are going to, and you know what, I need to make sure it's so much easier opening up the close to my heart stamp pads, but hey, that's the way it is. All right, let me get a piece of scrap paper here because I don't want to go anywhere I shouldn't. Now, what's neat about this glass mat is that I can very easily wipe it all off. All right, so now I'm just going to stamp at random, and what I'm going to do probably is to fast forward through this part. All right, there we go, my friends. So I'm going to set this aside. I will clean that later. And I almost had a heart attack thinking this was my 8.5 by 11 piece of white. Ooh, that would not have been good. All right, so first of all, let's put one of those dots so that I can, and of course I can't find it anywhere. Here it is. So I can secure it down. Always makes life that easier just a little bit. All right. Goodness. There's a way to set it down. There we go. It's the little things. Okay, here we go. Get this kind of in the middle for you and straight. Alrighty. Now let's lay this down. And yes, I am sure that I can completely lay this down, and I can't wait to show you my trick for, you know how I always get all wrapped around the axle where I put something down sooner than it needs to be, and then I have to stick something underneath, and oh my gosh, and then you hear me sighing. So I have come up with what I think is a good idea. All right, now we got to make sure, close ink pad. Oh gosh. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, so remember, this is our inspiration. So I've already cut my panels. And what is the length of these? They're just short of 2 inches. They're just over 2 inches. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know, the hardest thing for me was just learning how to cut the paper. So that is not, I still don't have that down pat. But I like this look right here, that there's plenty of gray in between these panels here. Now, there's nothing I need to put underneath, so I am going to secure these down, and I'm going to keep those there so I don't mess up my placement. Okay, here we go. And that goes. And make sure, you see the planes? Make sure they're the right side up. That could cause problems. All right. Do any of you have this suite yet? I just think it's so pretty. I've thought of already several different things that I want to scrapbook. One is us going to the Air Museum down in Pensacola. My husband learning to fly when we first got out of the Navy. And boy, that's a storybook one. That's a whole nother storybook, because he was taking me flying for the first time and the engine quit. So that will definitely be in this series. It's a lot of the stories I want to make sure I remember, and the more years that go by, the more I forget the details. So I'm excited about getting a book together where I actually have my stories written down. All right, so here is the photo of Danielle and I think I want to back this up. I want to mat it. So I thought blue would look real good. So we're going to secure that down. Nothing goes in between the photo and the mat. All right, let me move it down here, make sure I'm in the middle. Here we go. She's such a joy in my life. All right, now I already have my journaling and my story, and that's the tip I wanted to share with you all today, was to enjoy the process of telling the story, right? The photo by itself is such a wonderful memory, and you get to relive the story every time you see the photo. But the story written, where you put the words down on paper, that's the process that I'd really encourage you to enjoy. So one of the things that I do is the day before I'm even going to scrapbook, I will print up the one photo. Now this is from my storybook page, right? And pause, I'm going to scroll just a minute. These are the Easy Dots Repositional Dot Roller. Look at, this is literally going to save my life today. Because nothing's permanent. I can just hear Aaron laughing at this point. So this may go right here. We're going to see. See, already I have to move it. So before I even do any scrapbooking, I've printed up the 1 to 2 photos I want to tell the story about. And then I take the time. I grab my favorite cup of coffee. I am sitting in front of the computer and I'm starting to tell the story. What do I remember? What happened? What were the smells? What were the sights? What was I hearing? What were my emotions? And I start writing the story. And it's probably the first draft, because the next day when I'm starting to put this together, that's when I need to size this and decide where it's going to fit on the page. So I have my photo and I have my story. Well, next we're going to do some embellishments. Now, these are several of the planes that I put together, and this is one thing I wanted to show you. These are the coolest things. But I want to point out how to use the Take Your Pick tool. It has this sharp end. Now, I'm going to admit I did not know this right away, that what all these little dots were on the front side of the die. And I always use washi tape to hold it down when I'm going to use the die cut machine. So you use this. Now this may just be me, but any of the paper you can see, that definitely needs to go out. But then go through and do the holes, and when you go through these holes, you're also punching out little things here on this side, so that when you lift it, they'll come out very easily. And this helps it to come free, right? because as soon as you push through the hole, do you see how it's separated right there? And then all you do is just lift it up. I am telling you, before I figured this out, my stress level was out the roof because I could not get it out. So let me show you what it looks like when you first lift it off. Oh, well, forget about that. That came out real easy. Okay, forget that example. But this helps you to lift it out of the die. So this is the take your pick tool. So we're going to set this aside. And what I did next is I put several of these together. And the reason I like to do that is for my mind, it kind of helps me to visualize things better if I have different examples. So I went through, hold on one sec. Let's add these tags. Now, do you remember when I was first showing the suite, there's 2 sheets of paper and they have these tags you can cut out, and these are 2 of them because I wanted to bring out the cinnamon color that's in Danielle's shirt, and then of course the blue. It has a lot of blue hues. Well, when you first cut them out, they're not very well defined. I'm trying to see, here it is right here. You're basically just cutting them out of the paper. So I took a sponge dauber and I dipped it in, I think I did these in Night of Navy, and I just got the ink on it and I went along the edges so I could more clearly define it. That's what I did there. So now what I'm going to do, because I know I want the cinnamon, the copper clay, I believe that is, I wanted that in the background. And I want to get this on before I decide what airplane to use. And I am just putting that, wrapping it 4 times. I'm going to go through the tags at the top. There we go. And then I'm going to run the string, the twine, right back through it and pull it up like that. And I'm going to put a glue dot on the back because it will hold it. So we're going to add that on real quick. And this is a great tip. Tie a piece of ribbon because it'll hold this together. You know how the back all starts to come off. All right, here we go. So now I have the glue dot on the back, and it's not only going to help me to adhere this to the paper, but it's going to hold the knot in place. And I want to cut this off a titch. So we're going to do that right there. I may end up cutting it shorter, not sure. And once I decide where I'm going to put the photo, I will secure all this down better. But now I know several of the colors that I want to make sure I bring out with the airplanes, right? And I cut some clouds out. I stamped them and then die cut them, and I used the granite gray for this color to stamp the clouds with, all right? And then I used the die cuts to cut them out. So I know I'm going to have some clouds here, and we're just gonna kind of randomly place these just so I can get a look as to how the airplanes are gonna go. All right, and I have my title. Now you would look at this and go, the perfect 30-second hug. Well, that's a great long title, but I wanted to bring out the Night of Navy. So this is from a Close to My Heart stamp set. And oh, I didn't keep it out, so I'm sorry I could not tell you which one it is. But with all this laid out right here, let's figure out what airplane we want to use that's going to bring out and balance the colors. So the first one we have is the Night of Navy, and then I'm thinking this is gray granite. So I mean, that doesn't look too bad, but it kind of blends in more so with all the colors here instead of standing out. Now this, I did not have any solid copper clay, and I believe that this is a Close to My Heart color, and I couldn't tell you what it is. And that looks good, but it's not the same as the copper clay, right? So I really can't use that one. This one has the blue for the body of the plane and then the wings in the gray granite. And that one looks pretty good. I mean, they have all the colors. And then this one, I used the pattern from the suite that has the same copper clay, and I use that one. And this one, I believe, is my favorite. And that one does look good though, doesn't it? But we're going to use this one. Now, if you have a favorite, you can do your scrapbook spread and you can do that, can't you? All right. I know I want that right there. I'm going to stick this down. Yeah, that's my repositional. What am I doing in my life? All right, let's put this down because I do like it matted on this blue. Here we go. All right, want that about right there. All right, and then we want to stick these down. So let's do this. And I'm going to run this, and I am going to read you the story because it is just, it's beyond precious. It really is. All right. I don't want this edge straight down right there. To see how that would look funny, I want to make sure it's tilted a bit. So I'm going to go like this, and it'll be neat for it to cover a little bit of the photo too. All right, there we go. Now this can go down, and I have learned to only put the dot roller tape towards the center. That way, if I ever want to stick anything under the stamped image or the ephemera, I can do that easy enough. Now let's see. I want some of these panels showing at the bottom. So I know I want this to be about right here. And I think I want it over. So we're going to put it about right there. Okay. And then I want to secure the airplane down. And I want him, and I've only done the center, so I got plenty of room. I want it going over a little bit of this right here. The story of today. Alrighty. Now, let's put down some of these clouds. Let's see. I think I can secure this better. Let's do this. Okay, here we go. And right there. Okay. And now let's add some of our clouds. And then I will tell you this story. I mean, I can't right now because I cannot tell you the story and actually do this at the same time. That won't happen. I want to pop up some of these clouds to give it some dimension, and I want it covering a little bit of the bottom half of the airplane. Oh my word, please come off. There we go. All right, so we're going to put this right there. Okay. I know I got another big cloud, and I want one in the background up there. Up there. Okay. Let's see. I think about right there. All right, and do we want to pop up? Well, let's put that there. Let me see. What do I want it underneath there? Oh my gosh. And then this over here. Oh, there we go. I like that. Okay. All right, I know I'm putting this one down. I'm committed. It has the roller tape on the back. And I like it when it goes past this panel just a titch. Now, I guess the question is, I don't want that one raised. I just want the one. There we go. All righty. So this is my second storybook. The first one I did was entitled Always Run Faster Than the Beekeeper. So make sure you check that one out and it'll be listed below. So the tip today, remember, is to take your time writing the story. Enjoy the process of writing the story that tells about the picture. Now here is the actual inspiration card that I made, and I want to read you the story. So my daughter-in-law Danielle and I had both realized at the last moment that our paths would be crossing at the airport in North Carolina to take our connecting flights. So as soon as I landed to catch my flight to Boston to go visit my mom, I raced to Danielle's gate. But just as I got there, I received a text from her that said, well, they just ushered us through the gate. Oh my gosh, my heart sank because I had been so excited about just that moment of seeing her. My eyes got all teared up and stuff, and I did what any good mother-in-law would do. I just started texting as fast as I could, and I said, stop, come back, give me a hug. And I watched the opening of the gate, and it stayed empty, and I sighed, and I started turning away, and then her beautiful face came around the corner, and she had the cutest smile on her face, and she just beckoned me with her fingers to come over there. So I ran under the rope, and I ran up to her, gave her the biggest hug. So we had our 30-second hug, and then I said, Danielle, we have got to take a selfie. I was pushing the envelope at that point, but we got our 2-second selfie, and I have this wonderful story to tell, which, you know, it just warms my heart. It just makes me happy, and it's those kind of moments that I love to remember. All right, my friends, that's it. I hope you enjoyed our time together today. Be sure to take the time to document your stories. Tell your story, because we all have one to tell. And check out this next video. Until we meet again, God bless. Have an incredible day. Bye-bye.